Hi guys, what's up? In this next part, I'm using my iPhone. As you can see, the quality is not that great. Or maybe it is. I don't know. Whatever. Look, I don't care. I lost content. I lost like 15 minutes worth of footage as I was talking. Thank God I keep saving. But my phones are really gonna start to become the bane of my existence, y'all. And it's not even my phones. Like, it's just a one phone. But I need the iPhone to record. But anyway, in the last part, at least I was not rambling much about an essential matter. Most of the important stuff I've already kind of spoken about. But I am kind of bummed about losing content. But just to give you a snippet of what it is that I was saying then, already it's almost time for me to exercise. So I really cannot just keep rapping and rapping and rapping. This phone in Zedima. I was basically saying that money, right? Money is what it is that the occult is trying to draw me using. They're trying to make me feel as if though because I don't have money that I need to now turn over to them, and this is going to be the grand be all and end all of a extremity of a motivation due to the fact that I lack it. And it's like, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and yet lose his soul? However, even in spite of that, there are just certain habits that I have naturally as a person that would make me unfit for the kingdom of darkness, but I guess they don't care very much about that. I really hope that this whole thing of losing my content, like I talk and I talk and I talk and I talk, and the stuff I say I feel like it's important, and the next thing I lose that footage. Anyway, whatever, let me just get to the point. All the stuff that is on my iPhone, I'm just gonna have to make sure that it runs on its own inside my silence editor, because iPhone has got this noise in the background. I don't know what it is that just does its thing, but I just need to get to the point. Let me get to the point. I'm sorry guys if I'm kind of distracted right now. I'm ultimately gonna get to where I need to. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, so 4 and then the rest of this. Alright, so here I'm just gonna keep talking without stopping to record, because I trust the iPhone not to give me grief, and it'll be just one big fat chunky part. Listen, I was saying, ne, yeah, the occult, they're trying to lure me and drag me into this nefarious dark ecosystem that they belong to by saying that you don't have money. And the dream that I had, let me just describe the dream. In this dream, there was like this snake-like queue of customers, and I looked like Nkhono. First of all, I was rocking like a white outfit with like a white headscarf, and I have seen a white headscarf with a white, the church uniform thing on some woman being interviewed by, there are these channels on YouTube that like to interview all different kinds of people operating in spiritualities. Guys, if I'm looking above, it's because I thoroughly am running out of time and I need to go and exercise. So I'm multitasking at this point. I'm multitasking. I gotta do that. Otherwise, I'm never really gonna get anything done up in this monstrosity. I'm sorry, I struggle to multitask, even though apparently it's a gift for women. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, I've seen on some YouTube channel this one witch doctor. She was operating in marine spirits. She called herself a marine goddess or something, or operating in the marine kingdom. And she was rocking a white outfit, kaufela ejwalo, with like a white head wrap, right? And I remember thinking, like I said, this woman interviews people with random spirituality, so it's not just Christianity. And I was just disgusted by this woman. I didn't even listen to the rest of her interview, but she was trying to justify Kingdom of Darkness work and herself as one that is actually a pure spirit that is helping people along, when she's just deceiving the world and likely also doing some pretty evil rituals that she would never confess. Because that's always the thing about witches. They never confess about the evil that they do on behalf of people. They only speak about all the what they call good curses. In other words, I'm just helping a person get a job. I'm just helping a person start a business. I'm just helping a mother get a baby. They don't ever talk about the korobela side of forcing men to be with women and women with men. They never talk about the side that involves the theft of things, of prosperity from people, hexing human beings, making sure they don't get ahead. They never talk about that. They speak about how they are good witches and they don't harm people. Whatever. Shut up. It's the same spirit. This woman being interviewed on the show was essentially one of those hypocrites talking about how it is that she's a good witch, and she had this like calabash in front of her and some other paraphernalia that she was here to explain to this woman as to what they do. I did not listen to all of it because I was severely grieved, but the uniform, the outfit that she was wearing, I was rocking that in that dream, in the dream that I had last night, where I'm being pursued by this cult in South Africa. Do you understand? Where they want me now. They want me desperately because they imagine that I've got power they could use. and they think of me as one that's wasting my gift on Jesus, when they don't even realize that the power that I have is precisely because of Jesus. Otherwise, absent of staying in Christ, I would lose the oomph, the might that I have to conquer much of their darkness. They just think of me as the super warrior, like meta-human that they could use for their own camp. They don't even recognize that should I choose to abandon faith in Christ, I would lose my je ne sais quoi. The thing that makes them long for me so much, I would lose it. The thing that gives me so much ability to conquer even them, knock them to the ground. They think I'm a nice little weapon for them, when I would lose power if I gave my life over to the occult. Abaiboni diding. Blind, they are blind. Anyway, whatever. I would never ever lose my salvation, because that's not even a possibility. I don't believe that even in the slightest. But in the unlikely, or in the impossible event that such a scenario should ensue, one must understand that the moment you would then gravitate away from Jesus is the exact same time that you also lose the power that you have in him. We are seated in heavenly places with the man Christ Jesus. So the occult salivates, or they covet, they lust after the power of Christians by the Holy Spirit, because they thoroughly think that it is usurpable by the kingdom of darkness, when we are given this power precisely because of our allegiance to Jesus. So I would be a car that doesn't start if I suddenly turned sangoma. That's what you must understand. Anyway, whatever. Nonetheless, they covet it, they salivate after this power that I have got in Jesus Christ, to a point of trying to captivate me unto temptation in that trajectory. And in my dream, I was like this sorceress lady that I saw in the show on TV, on YouTube, right? Wearing a marine goddess outfit, because that's what they wear. White, in order to make themselves look good and clean. Many people in the occult adore the color white, or even bright yellow, just colors that look ethereal and queenly and sweet and kind and light-hearted, instead of going for the grungy gothic look that many of the other people belonging in the occult use. Because that is obviously kind of dark and kind of scary to people, they then have started like rocking all of these powder blues, these whites, these yellows, in order to make themselves look less demonic. Yeah, and in my dream, I was rocking an outfit of that nature. And I look like that marine goddess lady. So marine is essentially evidence of water spirits that would have given you the power that you are operating in. Now, in African spirituality, in black culture, that's a whole problem. How it is that our Sango must get initiated is by marine spirits. It is the core source of their sorcery. Their witchcraft, aquatic more than it is terrestrial. They don't use so much entities that are from the ground, the earth. They are all over the show, these entities, but they rather use the ones that rather originate largely from the water. I don't know what's up with them in the water, but a lot of sangomas, if not all of them, when they get initiated, they gotta be komedamong, they gotta be by rivers, they gotta be by oceans, they gotta be by whatever. Those are marine spirits. Do you understand? And this lady called herself a marine goddess. So what they're trying to initiate me into is a typical African spirituality. In other words, they want me working as a marine goddess. They want me uktwasa sangoma. Sangomas are all marine goddesses, all of them. There's not even a single twasified sangoma in South Africa or in Africa, wherever it is that they might find themselves, frankly, that has not gone through the water. Yeah, they all go through the water. And not everybody that operates in occult magic goes through the water, but the ones down here in these African streets definitely go through the water. So essentially, given that I am South African, and if at all I were to compromise my incredible soul, my precious soul, for the satanic kingdom, I would of course be initiated. Obviously, that's what's hassling me because of my generational curses. Where I come from, I would inevitably go through water rituals. Now that we've put that out there, let us then go on right ahead to communicate the rest of the dream. I was rocking that goddess marine lady outfit, and outside of and I was on the floor on some kind of a straw mat, right? So what's up with the floor? Anyway, whatever. And I was outside of this. I looked like I lived in like a sectional title, like deflated, where there's like apartment opposite me, apartment opposite there, apartment opposite wherever, right? Like a door that you can see the number 32, number 33, number 34, and number 35. And outside of my number 32, let's say I was living at number 32, what is this? There was a snake-like queue. Oh, like a snake-like queue. Like, guys, I could not see where it ended, of customers, clients. And among the people in the snake-like queue, believe it or not, were some YouTubers that I sometimes watch that are secular, right? There was no one there that was a Christian YouTuber that I could see in my dream, but a lot of the secular YouTubers that do like fitness or just little comedy skits and whatnot, covers for music, some of them were in this queue coming to get powers. Yes, I wagged my head when I woke up in the morning because I was like, yes, like it. That was God showing me how many people are involved in the occult just to get ahead, how many people just to get their powers, just to get, not powers, sorry, but YouTube channels to grow, just to get their salons to boom as stylists. How many of them are prepared to sell their souls to Satan just so they can get 500,000 subscribers, just so they can get themselves to grow? Because initially when they started out, they got nowhere. They tried to use their what do you call this? They tried to use their talents, to just raw talent and to get ahead. But unfortunately for them, they found themselves in such a bad bunch and an uncomfortable rut that they ended up having to forcibly now test out demons and stuff in order to get ahead. I felt kind of sorry for them, really, because the world has been so badly deceived by the love of money. And indeed, it is written in God's word that in the last days, men will, like, perilous times will come. Men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, disobedient to parents, and unthankful, unholy, etc. And this moral turpitude, is really just in getting ahead, like anything to push yourself along to the point of the expense even of your soul, you guys. Like, yeah, anyway, so some of my customers were some of the YouTubers that I watch the content of, just to basically light-hearted content that distracts me from all the sorrow that I feel. I watch it therefore, even if it's secular, like little comedy skits. I told you guys that. And they were in my queue trying to grow their YouTube channels. I was like, wow, okay, yeah. Nonetheless, that was a portion that God was showing me, but also what was important to gauge was that there was a long queue, and I was living in an apartment where outside of it there were all these people coming to see me to get what needs to be done, type establishment thing. And among them was some of the most prolific YouTubers with big channels coming to me, evidencing therefore the kind of money that I would be making. And this apparently was a lure for me, like something that could work, something that could cause a woman that is suffering a lot of poverty to then all of a sudden down tools and join. And then upon looking in the ecosystem around, it is that I was doing this, evidenced therefore then why it is that I would never go out like that. Like, nothing can ever lure me to the kingdom of darkness, and this is why. This is what I lost in my last footage. Let me just save this, even though I said I wouldn't save. Anyway, what's up? I'm glad for the iPhone because it's a lot more reliable and it also doesn't heat up. Anyway, whatever. So let's finish this because now it's like 19:49 and I gotta be working out by at least 8:30. So let's just finish this thing real quick. Okay, yeah, okay. First and foremost, Kingdom of Darkness. You're trying to recruit me. The responsible entity or the responsible body that is trying to bring me into the Kingdom of Darkness so that I can join them is from South Africa. They feel like I'm a waste for Jesus. Do you, gangsters? Like, do you? Okay. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. But allow me to demotivate you from even trying. So you can understand me and my character, my personality. The devil has a thing about changing people's personalities. And I'm not interested in that being a thing because I'm so vibrant, I'm lovely. So no thank you. But over and above it, there are just basic things that I've always rolled around in from the time I was a child that are just so unyielding and unchanging that it would be a turn off for me to merely even just so much as consider the Kingdom of Darkness. First and foremost, food. Alright? Yeah. Allow me to let you guys know, I don't like oats. Oats. You know jungle oats? Yeah. The reason I don't like jungle oats is because it's, that would be oatmeal. Cooked oatmeal. It's soggy. It's soggy. I've always imagined it ever since I was a kid. Like it was, what do you call the snot? Mamina. And in my mouth, it always felt like, this thing should not be swallowed. Because it feels like mucous membranes. It feels like a part of a human body. It feels like something that should not be eaten by human beings. It's slimy. Engathi ngidla into engumuntu ophelele. Like it's like eating mucus. Mucus. Something that comes from inside the body. of a living being. So that's why I don't like oats, because it feels that way in my mouth. So I always avoid it. My mom and my baby sister are massive fans of jungle oats. I'm the only one that don't touch it. I only eat muesli because they've made it hard and crunchy, so I can take that version of oatmeal versus the slimy kind, because I have a thing about the slime in my mouth. Also, tomato. Have you ever put a tomato in a sandwich and eaten it like 2-3 hours later? You know how it makes your bread soggy? Yeah, I learned that the hard way once upon a time in corporate South Africa when I had taken for myself lunch. It was a cheese and tomato sami, and I told myself I'm gonna eat it at like 1 p.m. or whatever because it was lunch. I packed it. I tried to eat it anyway because I was hungry and I didn't want to spend my own salary. It was back before I started making some real money where you could afford to buy canteen food. At the time, I think I was working at like a call center, and really, ain't nobody trying to buy a chicken mayo sandwich in the canteen. Everybody broke at that stage, and I tried to eat my food anyway because I was starving. And guys, I nearly vomited right there at my desk, to a point where I had to bring like bin yakom sebetzing to my mouth to vomit because I got so grossed out by trying to finish eating a soggy sandwich that I nearly vomited. Again, therein lies the sog. Okay, like I have a thing about soggy food in my mouth. I can't. I literally cannot take anything that's kind of moist and soggy and gooey in my mouth. Occult people, you are always eating dead things. You're always eating flesh. You're always eating uncooked flesh. Nochal. I have a thing as well, like you could never, eggs. Let's talk about eggs. That's another thing that I spoke about that I lost the footage of. Eggs. I can eat eggs, but I really struggle with eggs because when I think about eggs, I think this is something that has got a sperm in it and like a whole yolk. The concept of it grosses me out. So I gotta like have like a mental block when I'm eating eggs. Still to this day, eggs are not my favorite because I sometimes eat eggs due to them being recommended to me in some health channel for protein, but they gross me out because of the fact that there's literally a sperm and an egg in there. I struggle because who wants to eat sperm? Occult people take pride in eating such things. Like, I'm sorry, like I can't. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like sog, and also my eggs, if at all I fry them, it cannot be runny, like sunny side up, where some of the yolk is kind of leaking, because again, sog. Occult people are always eating soggy things that are uncooked. Sometimes they don't smell right because they're not properly done. Rotten food is part and parcel of some occult rituals, and I know that this is a thing because I've listened to testimonies of people who have come out of the occult before. Sog is a part and parcel of anything uncooked. So given that you like drinking blood, given that you like eating flesh that is uncooked, I could never survive. Plus, Masangoma, when they twasa, any one of them, I've listened to their testimonies, they always have to drink goat's blood. And they also have to eat the flesh of like some uncooked animal. Whether or not a demon can come into your body to basically sear your conscience from consuming soggy anything, it would have to first get me to the point where I am even possessed by a demon. And apparently, allegedly, in order for you to get possessed by a demon, you first gotta eat the soggy thing. So for me, it's the fact that I'm gonna vomit before I can even be fully demon possessed. So you're dealing with a person here that's got like a natural body personality that can never really take the occult in her stride. I don't do soggy, and the occult is always feeding people mucusy, soggy stuff that they don't even recognize. Baphuzisa abantu izinto that they don't see or understand. I have a thing about sog. I can't take it. Okay. Also, meat. If I were to buy a McDonald's burger and it is slightly red in the center, we're not eating it, we're throwing it away. So medium rare steaks and stuff, I don't even eat red meat, but even if I did, it would have to be well done. That's the kind of person I am. I can't do unfully cooked stuff, and I also can't do soggy things. And the occult is always, people in the occult are always eating soggy stuff. So therein lies the hardship in trying to win Karabo over for the Kingdom of Darkness. Let's just put that out there. I'm gonna find it gross initially. It's gonna be like, ew guys, and get Tata so many times that for the life of you, I'm not ever gonna get to a point where now I'm fully indwelt by a demon because now the blood is in my body doing a thing. It's gonna be vomited. It's not even gonna get to a point. Like that sandwich that I was trying to eat that was soggy with the tomato, I put it in my mouth, and while it was still in my mouth, I was vomiting. So I probably am not even going to get to a point of swallowing at this point. Plus, you do a lot of sex rituals where people have to swallow semen and stuff. Again, I told you I can't do eggs. So for those reasons, and the reason why I don't like eggs that much is because I just know that there's a sperm in there. And so it's the mind. My mind is just going to go awry. Do you understand? When I'm thinking about what's about to come in my mouth. And then there is smells. Like, I can't stand smells. Like diminko. It is so hard for me to live with my family, because when I was a kid growing up, I had these like dreams where, okay, so my mom always used to have these apartments where she would have her own ensuite bathroom, and so I therefore basically had the main bathroom of the house to myself when my sister left for Italy. Do you understand? So I was spoiled in that regard. However, we were not always living in the most cushy of conditions, and for me to share ecosystems and environments was always very hard. I never even liked visiting friends for those reasons, sharing of bathrooms. What do you call this? Right now, we live in a house where there's like one bathroom. My mom has lost a lot. She used to have much bigger houses back in the day. And, it is so hard to live with these people because they've got their own habits. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I always had this dream when I was a kid growing up because of struggling to share bathrooms due to these smells and just exchanges of random funny ecosystemic vapor that is in the sky that might have fecal matter and urine in them. I told myself that I'm gonna build a house proper when I grow up, when I'm a big woman, but I lost everything, right? That I am going to build a house that has got a bathroom that just has a basin in it, nothing but a basin, and that's gonna be just for brushing teeth. Just a basin. Just nothing else. No toilet, no shower, just a basin. And then I'm going to hook up a toilet that has got a basin and a toilet only. And then the shower, or the place where we blute our bodies, the bathtub, that'll be one room, and it'll also have a basin but no toilet. Because I just have a thing about flushing toilets in an environment where you brush your teeth as well. It's like, and there are people who flush, when they flush the toilet, they don't close the toilet seat. So all that stuff just kind of flies up in the room, and you don't know what people's bathroom habits are. So therefore, the prospect of putting a whole toothbrush in an environment where a toilet can also flush has been very gross for me for a very long amount of time. To a point where today my own, what do they call this, a toothbrush is separate from everybody else's. I put it in the bathroom, in the kitchen with my cinnamon and everything, and I don't leave it in the little cup where they all put their toothbrushes because I find it disgusting. One, I feel as if all the stuff that is flushing in the toilet can land on those toothbrushes that you put in your mouth, and secondly, after you're using the bathroom, you wash your hands and all that water sprays up and can land on the toothbrushes. So I don't get that whole thing. If I was living by myself, I would be prepared that should be where my toothbrush is at, and even then it would be quite at a distance from the basin. I wouldn't put it by the basin because of the prospect of washing my hands and that water spraying up before the hands are clean enough to have removed all traces of urine and off my hands, and then landing on my toothbrush. Like the other day, I spoke about how it is that I was brushing my teeth and I then, spat out the foam into the sink, rinsed it, and when I came back up, since I wear these high doogies in the morning, one of the toothbrushes of my family members hooked onto my doogie and fell into the sink while I was not brushing my teeth, but they pretty much landed on the moist water that came out of my mouth, and I was so disgusted. I rinsed it and everything, but I was like, what if that happened to my toothbrush? It's just such paranoias that I have about sharing spaces and environments with people where I live. For me, it's like, I'm sorry, I need my own space. So I need a bathroom that is just for a basin that's just for brushing teeth or washing hands, and nobody can poop in that room because all there is a basin, right? And then where does I bath my body and shower my body? There will be a basin, but no toilet, because I ain't trying to get all that stuff on my body. And then the toilet will be its own thing, where it is that it's a toilet and a basin so you can wash your hands afterwards. Like literally training the children even to just separate among matters. I even spoke about how it is that I can't stand talking in environments like bathrooms, because I feel like all that stuff is getting in the mouth. So people who can eat in bathrooms don't get it, and also people who have entire conversations, like ladies in the club, like in a club bathroom, it's like, just get in and out and like don't talk, because that stuff is coming in your mouth. That's because of sense. I have a thing about minko, I have a thing about extreme hygiene, and I also have a thing about random pathogens from some strange place landing on places that are going to go in my mouth. Now, people in the occult lack hygiene in the worst way. It is the worst. First of all, when I something, there was this one sangoma that came to bless my mother's house back in the day, and he smelled so bad, and the things that the stuff that he was spraying in the house also smelled so bad. Everything just smelled, and even after he left, it just smelled. Long story short, what they do smells. There is no quarters of a sangoma that does not smell, because of all the herbs they use, the combination of things, and minko, you don't understand what's going on over there. Minko would turn me off the craft. I have a thing about smells. I also cannot open my mouth in a bathroom because of the potential for smells and also what could be landing in my mouth. So therefore, how in the world am I going to keep on talking to people in a hut that smells like this when I can't talk in an environment where it smells? So I'm basically going to be a fruitless sangoma because I'm not talking to my clients because it's stank up in here of all of the things I'm burning. No thank you. Then there's the moist water in this country. The moist feet. In this nation, white people walk around all over the show barefoot, and I don't get it. Like, you be finding a white person in the mall. I don't understand it, right? I've never understood that whole culture because I just always had a thing about dirt underneath the feet and also moist dirt underneath the feet. In order to be a sangoma, you gotta go damp areas underneath the feet are gross to me, to a point where I never really liked swimming. I never really liked showering at the gym. I don't even like being barefoot in the bathroom, unless there should be water puddles on the floor. I cannot stand dampness under my feet. It grosses me out. To Twasa, y'all gotta be barefoot and everything. Y'all gotta get and everything on the floor. And y'all gotta be in damp, swampy environments where you could catch cholera from some, E. coli in the water because of literally continually abluting yourselves in some still damn water that could give you a proper whole lethal disease. Like, that's what's going on. Like, be out here catching malaria because we're not Twasa. I'm not doing it. There are so many practices involved in this dark satanic thing that are just against the general je ne sais quoi of the hygiene standards that I've got, that I'm not a good candidate for Isangoma. I'm just putting it out there. I would gag at all the stuff I have to eat just to twasa or just to be strong because it's too mushy. And it's also, I would also gag at the blood because I can't even eat meat that is not properly cooked. I also would gag and want to vomit when I have to set foot on wet floors because all of the stuff that you do is marine spirity type establishment thing. I would gross out. I would spaz with disgust in my bones. It would never work for me. Plus, the way it stank, I would also just constantly be like, Justin Jeffela ukube isangoma, I'm sorry, it's against my character, angwas. I can't. So if you don't ngoma, it's more fit and proper. The most prosperity you will gain out of calling these people would likely be for people who have already lived in so much poverty that they've gotten used to being in dirty environments. But I'm not that girl. Right now, I'm really struggling, suffering, living in this little shack that I can't clean well enough. But my general ecosystemic environment all throughout my life has been mostly clean. And still to this day, I gross out at certain things, and that's never going to change. So it's going to be a tough sell for you guys to bring me into the kingdom of darkness, guys. I promise you it's going to be a violently tough sell because it's not my kind of je ne sais quoi. It's not the thing I do. However, granted that this is the general thing that you're into doing, allow me to then also communicate to you that over and above just being grossed out and gagging, I also don't want to go to hell. Yeah, I also don't want to go to hell. So hellfire next to damp feet, total turn off. Total turn off. So, I mean, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and yet lose his soul? You can never win me for the kingdom of darkness. What work Christ has begun in me, he will finish it. Over and above the fact that the tactless rituals you do are disgusting. Look at this guy in America with his little voodoo doll in breaking 2 feet to force a woman to stop exercising. Why under heaven would I ever imagine myself one who still has swagger as a whole cool lady when I'm doing stuff like that? Taking away people's futures and destinies because I'm trying to get ahead? Where? Conscience, have you ever felt guilt in your life? Have you? It's very uneasy, but that's just the thing. You gotta drink blood to sear your conscience until one day they want the body of your child. And then on that day you have somewhat of a selective conscience where this time around, no, this you can't do. Well, I don't want to be told one day as a doting mother that I gotta give them my kid. That's also another big turnoff. So I don't know what it is about the occult that is so attractive and luring and seemly and comely to other people, but to me, it's a total turnoff. One, because I'm indwelt by the Holy Spirit, and secondly, because it's just gross, even without God in the room. The occult, therefore, in Afrique du Sud that is trying to win me over. Hey guys, I'm feeling at the case as to why I'm gay. And as for the apartment trying to lure me in, I'll have my own apartment and I'll be wealthy and I will be getting big fat chunky clients. No, it's okay. I told you, I'm gunning for a 1-bedroom apartment so I can move out of my mom's house. I'm not really vying for a mansion at this point. I don't care for big chunky vehicles with like giant golden rims and all manner and kinds of luxurious stuff. I just want to be able to survive better, run up to the rapture, and so my 1 bed I'm cool with it because guess what? I got a mansion. Yeah, it's in heaven. It's all like furnished and stuff, been decorated by the King of Man, by the Son of Man, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, and I'll take that rather. I don't want your little apartment outside of which I've got a whole bunch of irresponsible souls queuing to destroy the lives of others that they might get ahead. That's not really seemly to me. There is nothing about it that is attractive or luring, given that which I stand to lose is literally a whole chunky mansion in an eternal plane where I cannot have anybody burn it, or bring it to the ground, or steal it because they're a witch, a stronger little Satanist, a viper of sorts, a brood of vipers. I can't. No. I would much rather gather for myself treasures in heaven where moth and rust do not destroy and thieves do not come in and steal. Yeah. All of your stuff is easily stealable, clearly, as you have displayed by stealing other people's things to bring them into your own courtyards. It evidences that this here environment down here in these streets on earth, I should not really be investing too much of my oomph, might, and energy in. It's called Earth. The Lord said, do not love it or anything in it, for all the stuff is destructive and it's going to perish. The love of the eyes, the love of the flesh, and the boastful pride of life. So that little apartment, number 32, that you want to hook me up with, and get me out of this shack, it's okay. I don't need apartment number 32. I just need a mansion in heaven. And speaking of apartment 32, I might just get that apartment anyway. Not might. I will get that apartment anyway without breaking anybody's legs so they don't exercise. Without taking anybody's chickens and cows and drinking their blood. Without grabbing anybody's hair follicles and putting them in a glass jar that they might never grow hair again. Without cracking a woman's skin to break out into acne or get old overnight. Without stealing anybody's degree. Without stealing anybody's career, future promotion. Without taking any woman's womb. Without even sacrificing my own womb. I'm gonna go on right ahead and get apartment 32 anyway. Yeah, because every good and perfect gift is from above and from the Father of heavenly lights. So rather than have to kill a cow and a chicken drink its mushy blood to get an apartment, I think it's just better off if I just waited on Jesus after, getting my knees a little ashy from praying for a couple of hours. I think it's just a better deal to stay in Christ. I don't know about you. So no thank you for your little attempt at recruiting me into the occult, okay? It's not gonna work. Nyanyanyisa, futhi niphuza igazi, manikata lapho bese nidla a sandwich that's mushy, otherwise known as rotten food, maggots, I don't know why, proper, y'all be out here acting in the Fear Factor. You are contestants on Fear Factor when you join the occult. You know how they make people eat worms, whole entire slugs that are still alive for money, for a prize in the end. That's what's good. Practitioners and people that are trying to sell their souls over to the devil are contestants on Fear Factor. And you drink blood. Guys, have you seen Fear Factor from back in the day? You probably are made to eat some satanic stuff. And I told you, I can't even stand oats. And that's real food. What then for a snake in my mouth? Just so I can, get prosperity indefinitely. I don't know why you don't recognize the deception. I don't know why you've been grabbed. You've been snatched and grabbed like a purse. Oh, William Nicole. That's what's good. It's alright, ne? Ke grande. Everything in my wake just so I can get apartment number 32. I'll pass. I'm signing out on Christ's name. I gotta go work out. As for the little menace in America, that's what we are dealing with, dude. These little randos in South Africa, they're gonna kill you. And these little randoms in South Africa are trying to get me to join the occult so I can bust a cap in your knee personally. But I'm not interested. They're gonna bust a cap in your knee themselves and then come back and say, but Karabo, we want you. That's also another thing, one last thing that I want to highlight over here. These little randos in South Africa, random ugly rando in America, understand they're gonna kill you because they want me more for them. Now they're changing their mind about me dying. They are now desirous that I should rather be won over for the kingdom of darkness because they think I'm a gem. They think I'm like a meta-human that they need to win over for rather the dark side. They don't recognize my power from being from Jesus, and so therefore essentially ineffective in the occult. But with them believing that I've got all this power, they're gonna increasingly, as time progresses, long that I should rather join them instead of die, because I'm that valuable. The amount of information I have is going to be so valuable that they're going to want to rather recruit me. And so somebody that's going to be trying to kill me out here in these streets, they're going to knock him out because apparently, allegedly, I'm going to be worth more alive than dead. All the best dealing with that. Yeah, as for all of y'all occult practitioners, so you can try and get to Helen of Troy, the face that launched 1,000 ships. Peace out, I gotta work out.